guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how to do your own full set at home. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into pushing back the cuticles here. And I'm also going to be filing the top of my nails to take out that shine, and also reshaping the nail in general just to make sure that they even out. So in this first step, we're going to be using that alcohol and the scrub to take out the shine from our nails and make it look dull. How to do that is you're going to use the scrub and basically just scrub off the nail until there's no shine on it, like shown in this part of the video. After you're all done with that, you make sure to get your tips and your glue. Keep in mind, do not use this IBD glue. It is horrible. It takes so long for the nail to actually stick onto the glue. I do not recommend it. For the next 5 seconds of this clip, I'm basically going to just show you a review on how the IBD glue does not work and how it does not stick properly. So you're more than welcome to skip past this part of the clip. Alrighty, to begin where we left off at, I'm basically just measuring out the nail, and in this part you see that that nail was too big and this one fits the nail just right. You want to make sure that it's not too small or not too big, because then that will create what we call lifting. In this part of the video, I'm just taking out the glue that I put on, the IBD glue, and refreshing the nail and making sure that it looks dull again so I can put the crazy glue. Alrighty, so I know that crazy glue is used for other things, and people question whether you can use it for nails. I personally do use it for nails, but I do recommend, if you don't feel safe using the crazy glue, then use the kiss glue because it works just the same. The most important part when gluing the nails is to just make sure that they line up evenly so that the nail is not crooked. Sorry about that, guys, I mean crooked. Now just be sure to repeat the steps on each hand, again making sure that the nail does not lean and is not crooked. This is how the finishing product should look. Now we're going to be taking our nail clipper. You probably could find this in your local beauty store, and we're basically just going to be measuring it to our liking. Since I am doing the style called stiletto, I'm going to make sure to keep them long because I do prefer to have them long. Now you can do whatever size you want and size you feel comfortable doing. As you should be able to see, I'm doing mine right above the number located on the nail. Measure out the nails and make sure that they're both even. And this part is only recommended to clip the sides if you are doing pointed nails or ballerina nails. Be sure to do it on both hands. If you haven't seen my tips to how to file a nail in my last video, make sure to check that out so that you're not lost filing the nail. I'm basically just filing the nail into a V motion, also making sure to file both sides of the nails evenly. Mainly focusing on the tip and making sure that it comes out pointed. Next nail, make sure that you keep going back to the first nail that you did so that you can make sure that both sides are even. Right here, I'm just making sure to file the top of the nail so that I can blend in both the fake nail with the real nail. Just a reminder, what we do to one hand, we also make sure to do to the other hand. Filing the nails, we want to make sure to take out all that dust using the alcohol and the scrub again. Next, we're going to get a nail primer. I'm using Mia Secret's Extra Brown Primer, and we're going to prime our nail, not the fake nail, but our nail, making sure to do a double coat on each nail. how to do this part. This part I'm basically trying to achieve a red bottom nail theme. So I'm testing out all the reds to see which one fits me the best. This is only to achieve the red bottom nail. Now if you don't want to do a red bottom nail, you can skip past this part and go on to the next step. The red bottom nail can only be achieved if you're using a clear nail and a light top coat. So like a white, not a black like I did because it ended up coming out dark like shown here. Now let's get back to painting the ending of our nail red. Be sure to do it on both hands so that they come out looking like this. Keep in mind I just painted the top of the nail, not the bottom. It's just clear so it went through. Now we move on to the tough part, which is applying the acrylic. Here I'm just tapping my brush inside the monomer so that we could clear out all bubbles, and then dipping it into the powder and getting a small bead. And I'm going to apply that onto that nail and making sure to work the acrylic upwards towards the cuticle. When you apply the acrylic, you want to make sure that you keep your nails in a downward motion so that the acrylic slides down and not upwards towards the cuticle. And just dab the acrylic in a downward motion so that you're making sure to cover the whole nail with acrylic. As you're applying the acrylic, be sure to clean your brush. Reason being is because if you do not clean your brush, the acrylic will pile on the nail, and that's not what we want. And not only that, it will pile on the brush, which allows it to be a little more difficult to apply the acrylic. Another reminder is to be sure to clean the bottom of the nail. And when I say the bottom, I mean the underneath of the nail. I'm just going to repeat the step that we just did prior, dipping it into the monomer and also in the powder to get a bead in order to do the bottom of the nail. Now we got to focus on the bottom because the bottom, we don't want it to be too thin compared to the cuticle part of the nail. Part of the nail, I personally like to move my nail in the direction that I want my acrylic to move. Reason being is because if you keep it in a flatward motion, it will move all over the place but the direction you want. But again, just continue to move the acrylic down in a downward motion towards the bottom of the nail so that we can make sure that the acrylic is distributed evenly. As you guys know, I struggle with my English. I mean distributed evenly. And now you're just going to keep applying more acrylic until it's thick enough to your satisfaction. Wow, that was bad. But until it's thick enough for your satisfaction. And then once you get that done, then you can move forward to the next nail and apply the same steps that you did for this nail to all nails. Get into too much details about how to use it for your opposite hand, but basically I'm just showing you guys how I use it for my opposite hand. I'm picking up the acrylic and the powder with my right hand and applying it with my left hand, but I'm holding the brush in a certain way that's comfortable for my liking. I need everybody to keep in mind this is the hardest step ever. Like, it is very hard. It takes a lot of practice to actually do it the right way. Now this part of the video, I'm actually going to be doing a half nail, which is glow in the dark. This is optional, you do not have to do this. But I'm going to be taking my glow in the dark powder that I got from eBay and mixing it with my acrylic in order for the powder to come out in an acrylic form. The exact measurements I'm using, but I do know that I'm using less glow in the dark powder and more acrylic powder. For example, if I'm using a spoon of the glow in the dark, then I'm using double the amount for acrylic powder. Now Now, if the glow-in-the-dark acrylic doesn't pick up correctly, then that means you need to apply more acrylic powder. Now, in this part, my plan was to achieve a half glow-in-the-dark nail, so I kind of winged it out. I didn't use anything. I just made sure to apply the acrylic in a halfway motion. After you finish applying the glow-in-the-dark, make sure to put a clear coat of the regular acrylic powder on the top of the whole nail. For this part, I'm going to be using my drill machine, and I'm going to be turning it up to the highest level that I feel comfortable using it. If you want a more detailed video on how to file your nails, make sure to watch my last video, because again, it's explained in the last video. But here I'm just filing around my cuticle area so that I can blend it in. And I'm also going to be using that drill and filing the top of the nail, the surfaces, any bumps, also making sure that it's smooth and not lumpy, there's no dents in it. Be careful with doing this step, because a lot of the time if you're filing too much on one specific location, then it can dent, and when it dents, it makes the nail look really weird. Also being sure to file the bottom of my nail for any acrylic that was clogged up. Again, being sure to repeat the steps on each nail. I repeat, please do watch my last video if you want a more elaborate, detailed explanation on how to file with both a nail filer and a drill filer. Here I'm just showing you how to file the cuticle part with the nail filer now. And I'm also going to be smoothing out the nail, making sure that everything looks even, nothing looks lumpy with the nail filer. So I did both the drill and the nail filer for us today. Alrighty, so now that we're all done with that, we're going to be taking our alcohol again and our brush and just removing all that dust off from your nails. Alrighty guys, we're almost done. This is our last step. So basically I'm just taking this cuticle oil and I'm going to be putting it on the surface of my cuticles. This step is optional. You do not have to do it if you don't have cuticle oil, but if you do, then I would suggest you doing it. Alrighty, and after you're done, just make sure to wash off your hands and scrub them off with soap and water. Also scrub off the dry acrylic on your skin. And there we have it. That's how you do your own tips at home. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see me achieve this glow-in-the-dark drip look, just click on my next video. Have yourself a very merry, delicious Christmas.